think we are still in full link of interdependent origination. So, of course, before beginning the class, everybody should be set up the intentions. And one of the best intention is bodhicitta, because of the Lam Rim, the practice is part of Mahayana practice. So any Mahayana practice or teaching or any prayers or whatever we're doing, first make sure our intention is the pure, which is the bodhicitta intentions. So all of us, before we beginning the class, make sure our intention is bodhicitta, and bodhicitta comes based on compassion to all sentient beings. That's first. Without having compassion to all beings, the bodhicitta is impossible. So, in order to generate compassion to others, first need to be sort of the self-compassion, which is the renunciation. So, without having renunciation, the compassion is really hard, difficult. In the Lama Tsongkhapa's, the Lam Rim Chemo, in the text, it's very clear. Say, without having, self sort of being free from suffering and causes of sufferings, then apply to other beings, it's impossible. So that's why renunciation. So then compassion, then through that called the unusual attitude is sort of altruism, the strong, much spatial compassion, whose compassion is the mind who's seeking other beings be free from sufferings, but the unusual attitude or special compassion, which the mind not only wish other beings be suffering and causes of suffering, but also wish to help them. So you're taking self-responsibility and you determine oneself to help to others. So it's more powerful compassion. So out of altruism, then one of the best way, just having nice wishes will not going to help to others. So we're not going to able to help to others. So in order to help other, first oneself need to be free from one's own suffering and causes of suffering. Another word is if oneself achieve enlightenment, then you can able to help to each and all beings directly. So that's why you're seeking oneself to achieve enlightenment, Buddhahood, and the main purpose is to benefit to others, to help to others. That kind of intention is called the bodhicitta. So out of bodhicitta, if we're doing this class, then any virtues and merit you accumulate through discussing this class will becoming the causes of enlightenment, will becoming causes of Buddhahood. Out of renunciation, then whenever you through that listen to class and anything through that any virtues and merit you accumulate, and all those merit and virtues becoming causes of nirvana, the self-liberations. So then that's why it's very different. Then without having any renunciation or bodhicitta and nothing, instead of that, just selfish or something like that, then instead of becoming causes of enlightenment or Buddhahood or liberation, it might be becoming causes of samsara. So it's so much important, depend on what kind of intentions you have. So that's why we need to make sure, set up bodhicitta intentions. And out of bodhicitta, now the class, we are still in 12 link of interdependence, which is the main purpose of this teaching is to achieve the renunciation, to develop the renunciation. So either through Four Noble Truths or through 12 link of interdependence, the main purpose is through that, where you study, you're listening there, and you practice, you investigate, contemplation, whatever we do, point is, if you're able to generate renunciation through knowing this Four Noble Truth or 12 link of interdependence, then you got the purpose, or you're understanding very well, very contemplations and knowing very well, but it's not helps to generate a renunciation, then it's pointless. So that's why the main point is to generate a renunciation. The Four Noble Truth we've been last time, now 12 link of interdependence, which is the first two truths. The truth of suffering and the truth of origin of suffering. If you go much detail, then for 12 link of interdependence will explain that. So among the 12 link of interdependence, the first is ignorance, and second is compositional factor. The third is consciousness and name and word. Then six souls, contact, feeling, craving, grasping, potential existence, and birth and aging and death. So these are the 12, which I think the 6 are the causes and 6 are results. So the first, ignorance, which is mentioned earlier, general the ignorance, which means not knowing. So the not knowing, ignorance general has to who just not knowing, or who grasping, or who apprehending, which is completely mistake, completely wrong. So among these two ignorance, the wrong one is called the wrong consciousness, or the mistaken consciousness. The wrong consciousness is much worse than just ignoring. So the wrong consciousness is one of the main causes, because if you polluted by this wrong belief, or the wrong grasping, mistaken believing or grasping, or the mistake, the wrong apprehending, then any decisions come from your mind out of this ignorance all become a mistake. Then out of that mistake decision, any action you acted, even good or bad, whatever you acted, all of them becoming contaminated, mistake, wrong. So that's why wrong consciousness is the one of the fundamental causes of all the suffering we're experiencing. So among the wrong consciousness, specific, this ignorance, which we talk about, 12 link of interdependent origination, the ignorance, which is also, there are two. One is the wrong consciousness, which completely mistake the identifications of the real phenomena and the self. So self and phenomena. So they believing, they apprehending the self and the phenomena, which is not true, which is completely mistake. So that kind of ignorance is one of the main ignorance among the 12 link of interdependent origination. General ignorance has so many, the wrong consciousness on conventional reality, like for instance, the permanent grasping, the mind of permanent grasping, the mind who grasps all the phenomena permanent, and these are also ignorance. and the mind who grasping like much gross level about, the things which is not true, you just believing that, or thing which is not color, your ignorance on the color, your ignorance on the shapes, and your ignorance about all these materials are becoming very, very gross level of ignorance. So there are hundreds and thousands of different types of ignorance, but when we talk about 12 link of interdependent origination, uh, that kind of ignorance, from that ignorance, which is the main that ignorance, which is the ignorance who don't understanding the ultimate reality of self. That's the main. So uh, then the second ignorance, which is the ignorance uh, who believing, who grasping uh, the like who ignorance, who not understanding the law of causality, the karmic system. So who's believing there's no karma, so there's no cause and effect relationship. So that kind of ignorance, which is who causes so much negative emotions. This is the second type of the ignorance, which creates all this what you call the action, the compositional activity, the karma. In Tibetan we call dujikile, so which is the karma out of the ignorance, don't understanding the law of causality, the karmic system. That ignorance create the karma, which is what you call the non-virtuous karma, uh, which is the causes of three lower rims, right? Hell rim, hungry ghost, and animal rims. So these are the three lower rims causes by non-virtuous karma, which creates by the ignorance who not believing the karmic system. So that kind of ignorance is the second. But the main ignorance is the mind of ego grasping, the mind who grasps self, exists independently, inherently, without depend on anything. So who exists inherently, who exists by its own. So that is the one main ignorance. So because of that kind of living with this kind of ignorance, with the human beings, so whenever we think about the self, whenever the objects, we see it appearing in our mind, it's always something like a solid, absolute, which means the object who exists by its own, exists something we call the independently, which looks like, all these objects like a, what you call sort of like a pointable, a findable, solid, absolute. That kind of objects appearing in our mind. At the same time, our mind grasp. We believing that whenever we think about the self, we're thinking self means something solid there, something heavy, it's who exists by its own. So any phenomena, the objects, when they appearing, when they see the attractive objects or unattractive objects. Attractive objects, when we see is looking something objects from there, acts from its own side, something solid there. So when we see attractive and the solid, absolute, something there, it creates us attachments. So that's why we attach to these attractive objects. When we see the unattractive objects, when we appear in our mind, it looks like a very solid, absolute like that. Then same time, when things appear in your mind like that, then when you grasp, you believing that, that's why it causes us anger, hatreds to specific these objects. So that these objects, when we angry, we seeing like an object, something solid there. So that's why we hate something pointable, something from there. So it's keep us, it's like a create us so much mistake, the wrong, the mind by this ignorance. So living with so many this negative emotion, any action we act through body, speech, and mind, all of them these actions will becoming negative, contaminated. So contaminated action because of the mind, which is the ignorance and the negative emotions, the polluted, it comes from fundamental causes is completely mistake the wrong. That any action when they come out of this ignorance, all of them becoming contaminated. So contaminated action will bring the result is contaminated, which is called samsara. So even your good action or the bad actions doesn't matter. Out of this, the negative ignorance, any actions we created, all of them becoming contaminated. So contaminated good action or virtuous action, contaminated bad actions called non-virtuous action. Two different compositional activities, the karma we created out of those ignorance. So contaminated good or virtuous actions becoming causes of three upper realms, right? Human beings, God realms, demigods. Contaminated negative non-virtuous action are becoming causes of three lower realms, which is called hell realm, Holy Ghost, animal realms. So because of the karma we accumulated through what you call this ignorance, even the good karma may be very, very good, or maybe just good, or the medium, right? It's a very good, or the medium, and then the last just good. So three different types of the karma, general, So we generating virtuous karma out of still ignorance. Out of ignorance, we generating very, very good karma or medium or the less good, just good karma. So three different types of karma we accumulated. So that's why the three different types of the upper realms. The one of the best, the good karma, becoming causes of God realms, and the medium becoming causes of demigods, and the just good one, the third one, is becoming causes of human beings. So that's why the karma we accumulate has three different types. Actually have millions, but you should generally put it into three: very good and medium, and the what you call the just good, right? I'm not sure how to say that. So three different types. We put it into three different categories because of three different causes. The results, the upper realm has three different results. The God realms, Deva, and the demigods, and the human beings. Similarly, the non-virtuous karma, out of ignorance, we accumulating non-virtuous karma, which is also the non-virtuous karma, very bad, the worst, non-virtuous, and medium, or just bad. So three different types of we should put all those non-virtuous karma, put it into the three baskets, three categories: very, very bad, and medium, and just bad, the three. So because of three, and the results, it brings three different results. Hell realms is one of the worst, very, very negative, bad, non-virtuous karma becoming causes of hell realms, and the medium becoming causes of hungry ghosts, and the just bad, which becoming causes of animal realms. So that the realms has, the hungry ghosts, hell realm is much worse. And how the difference worse and medium is because of the suffering. The hell realm being suffering is so much painful. It's very deep and very, very pain. And the hungry ghost compared with the hell realm is a little bit better. The animals, general hungry causes too much suffering of hungry, suffering of thirsty, suffering of heat, and all these things. But compared with the hell realm suffering, a little bit better. Then animal rims. This animal rims compared with the hungry ghosts, much better. But of course, as an animal, they also have so many suffering. Among these suffering, one of the main suffering the animal has is the ignorance. Ignorance, don't understanding about you know what is this, what is that. Even sometimes the animals, the ignorance, like for example, we used to use the pig. When you look in the Wheel of Dharma, they put the three in the center, the three animals, pig and snake and what you call rooster. So among these three, the pig symbolism of the ignorance. So that what that means there are people who keep this pig. The owner of the pig is feeding to the pig for kill. So actually, that owner is his main enemy. This guy will going to kill you, not only you, your children, your family, everybody will going to kill by this owner. But the pig, when they see the owner, they like it. They just run after him, him or her. That kind of ignorance, don't know about that. So animals, have, that's what they use as a pig as example of ignorance. So these are the, what you call the causes, it's called the second, what do you call, 12 link of Dharma, independent, 12 link of independent. The second is compositional factor, which is this, the karma, good, virtuous karma, and non-virtuous karma. But both of those karmas are contaminated. It's a compositional activity has good or virtuous and the non-virtuous. So the virtuous and non-virtuous, both of them are contaminated. That's why both of them are causes of samsara. So virtuous karma is the virtue, but contaminated because it comes from ignorance, the mind of ego graspings. So that's why even the virtues, they give us some kind of sort of like a joy, virtuous result, like born in gods and demigods and human beings as better realms, but still part of samsara. So because of a contaminated, that's why it's becoming causes of samsara. So these karma are never ever going to become a causes of liberation, nirvana. So that's why, we should understanding living under the influence of mind of ego grasping and ignorance, even good karma or bad karma, whatever we accumulated, these karma still, the results, there are some virtues, good result, but they are still part of samsara. So that's why compositional activity, the second. Then the third, consciousness, which is when out of ignorance, then anger or hatred, any negative emotion arises, then we act. Our act of physical, speech, and mind. So through the physical, we act of violence. So showing wrathful face or killing, heat to other people. So any violent action, we act it. It's just action, we act it, is finished. Not. Any actions come out through your physical, it's always creating karma, actions, the karma. So those karma, after you act it, where it's gone, so it's keep it into the consciousness. So the karma through your physical or through your speech, out of anger, you're saying horrible things and bad things or harsh words or telling lies, any negative speech comes out of your through your mouth, all those speech creates negative karma. So through your mind, harmfulness, covetousness, wrong view, anger, hate, anything out of that, anything when you comes through your minds, you accumulate at the same time negative karma. So those negative karma, after finish the actions, where it's gone? It's gone or finished or it disappear? No. It stays in your consciousness, called storehouse consciousness. It's storing in your mind. So with another word is those actions remain like imprints in your consciousness. It's storing. It just puts seeds in your mind. So the mind or the consciousness storing all those karma, all those imprints of the karma, they store in consciousness. So it's not just gone. It's not just now finished. Action, you acted. But after that, when you finish the action, after that, all those karma storing in one's own consciousness. So that's why the third is the consciousness who's storing those karma. Then the fourth, these are the three causes, right? First, ignorance. Then second, out of ignorance, compositional activity, which is the karma. Then third, consciousness, which is those karma, store that, keeping that in your mind. So these are the three causes. Then you should jump into the one, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, 9, which is craving, grasping, and potential existence. The craving, grasping, these are the two which is part of attachments. So I just gives you first a little bit jump here and there, then it gives you some kind of idea, the triangle of interdependence, how it works. So craving is, I think it's the number 8 is the craving, which is the number 9 is grasping, which is the number 10 is potential existence. So potential existence, which is it is still part of the karma. The karma becoming very, very heavy, or its potential, it will going to give the result soon. So when you put so much storing there, eventually it will becoming really powerful, then it will going to soon, it will going to bring a result. That kind of karma called potential existence, it will now bring the result soon. So the craving and the grasping, number 8 and number 9, these two are part of attachments. So how it works means you, out of ignorance, you accumulate karma, you're storing all those karma in consciousness. Then, when we see the attractive objects here and there, we crave, we attach this. So we attach 1 time, 2 times. Each time we attach, we nurture it to our karma. So the karma is the seeds. We put it into our consciousness, and the craving and the grasping. Craving is a little bit lighter attachment, and the grasping is very strong attachments. So you're really active now. So that's why that these two mind, which what they're doing is nurturing to your karma, the karmic with karma, which is the potential, that seeds in your consciousness. They put 1 time craving, 2 times, 3 times, again, when you're craving again and again, same time they put the seed, they put the water in the seed, the karma in your mind has. So craving and the grasping, these two attachments, is nurturing all this karma in your part in your consciousness destroying, they put the water, craving, grasping. So that's why karmic, depend on which kind of craving and grasping will going to nurture certain karma. So that they need to be same causes. So that's why you put again and again, like for instance, the bad karma. If you accumulate something like a really negative karma to born in animal realms, you accumulate this negative karma. The karma is in your consciousness, they're remaining, they're sleeping. It's just stay as a potential imprints, invisible imprints level. Then the craving and grasping. Again, you see the animals, you attach to animals, this or that, and sort of like sometimes some area the people attach the animal's skin, attach the animal's horn, attach the animal's bone. So anything, the animals, these creatures, very sad. Whatever, they have just very little. Human beings, we have so much, so many we have, still never satisfied. Animals, they're just very simple. There's nothing. Unfortunately, even they have little nice skin, these human beings attach to the skin and they take their life because of their skin. There's no right to take other skin. The animals is ignorance and there's nothing to do, very fragile. Then people, whatever they have, even they have nothing, just simple skin, they will take it out. If they don't have skin, they have nothing. Now their body, they attach to eat them, kill them, to take the meat or whatever they're going to eat it. So it's just, just these simple animals living with a very simple life. They're just taking care of their own babies and very simple sort of, the nest or whatever they make it simple, staying very harmony with the environments and this, what you call the greedy human beings. Too much greed, that doesn't matter. So attachments, craving, and the grasping take over again. So that's what they're nurturing into their karma to born in animal lives. So again, one time, two time, one moment, next moment, that so many craving and grasping, they're nurturing this specific karma who are causes of born in animal realms, nurturing, then eventually this karma become a very strong, which means becoming potential, very powerful to give the result to born in animals. When the karma become a really powerful, because you nurture it like a seed. When you put the water, eventually the seeds become really, brings the result very soon. It's already now brings these sprouts and something like that. Similarly, the karmas become very strong. So when they come, like first, just compositional factor, just like a dry seeds. Then the craving and grasping, nurturing them, then becoming potential seeds, becoming really powerful. When they're transforming into really powerful karma, that's called potential existence, which is the number 10. So the craving and grasping, make this potential existence, number 10. So that's why first ignorance, then second compositional activity, then third consciousness, then craving and grasping, nurture these things into the consciousness in this compositional activity, then nurturing by craving and grasping, then finally the compositional activity becoming or transforming into potential existence, really powerful seeds. So these are the 6 causes. These are the 6 causes in this life. Then, after your death, then first you birth, you connect it, because you have very strong, the karma, what you call the potential existence, that karma is the very strong, it's almost going to keep the results. Then after you die, this karma will first give you result, which is your consciousness will going to connect in animal realms. The animal, the mother, her womb, you will going to connect it into her womb. That's called birth. So the number 11, birth, first result, right? The birth. Then when you birth, which is as soon as when you connect it to the animals' realms in the mother womb, then what is first come? It's called name and form, which is number 4, name and form. What are them? Name and form, which is 5 aggregates. Aggregates of form, aggregates of feeling, aggregates of discrimination, aggregates of compositional factor, aggregates of consciousness. That's called the 5 aggregates, right? 5 aggregates is the basic of imputation of the self. The self we label, we impute it on 5 aggregates, basic of imputation, the 5 aggregates, which is aggregate of form, feeling, discrimination, compositional factor, and consciousness. So those are the 5. It's called name and form. Form is form aggregates. Name, you should put the 4 of them. Feeling, discrimination, compositional factor, consciousness. These are the 4. They give the word called name. Why they call name? Because these are the 4 which are the invisible. We don't see them. These are formless phenomena. So invisible, formless phenomena, their identity, they identify through the name. So feeling, discrimination, compositional factor, you have to just give the word the name through that. Form, you can see it's solid, right? So that's why these are the 4 they call short word. It's called name. So this point is form and the name, it's called name and form. Name and form, which is the 5 aggregates. The 5 aggregates, what that really means when you connect it to the animals' 5 aggregates, that's why you are animals. When you connect it into human beings' 5 aggregates, that's why you call it human beings. If you connect it to the 5, like birds, 5 aggregates of the birds, that's why I call you are the birds. So who you are is based on what kind of your aggregates are. Your 5 aggregates is from bird realm, that means you are the bird. If this is from animals, that we call the animals. So that's called the identity of the oneself, which realms you are. Which realms, part of the realms you are, is based on what kind of aggregates you have. You live with what kind of aggregates. So that's why name and form, which is first when consciousness traveling through after your death, then the Bartho realms, then after the Bartho, when you're connecting to the mother realms, so animal mother womb, when you're connected, first when you're connected, you're born in animal, you already have 5 aggregates. The body, which is the inside the mother wombs, you are the father side of the white drops and the mother side of the red drops, and they mix together. So when they are joining together in the mother womb, that's your body, form aggregates. When you're connected there, they already have feeling, discrimination, compositional factor. It's always there. Any conscious without feeling and discrimination, all the other consciousness is part of compositional factors. What you call like a karma, and all these are part of the compositional factor. There's a 52 what you call mental factors. So among the 52 mental factors, feeling and discrimination is the two. Rest of the 50 mental factors are part of compositional factors. So when you connect into the mother womb, so all the other minds are part of the compositional factor. And the main six consciousness, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mental consciousness, these are part of the main mind, consciousness, main mind. So when you connect into the mother womb, you already have consciousness there. So these are the five aggregates. First result, when you connect into the mother womb, you already have five aggregates. That's called name and form. Then slowly, when you grow up in the mother womb, first they're just small liquids. Then slowly, it will comes up like a bigger. Eventually, 6, 7, 8 months. Then slowly, eye faculties, ear faculties, nose, tongue, body. So all the faculties arises. All the six faculties where they arises, that's called the six souls: eye, ears, nose, tongue, body, and the mind. It's called the six souls. The six souls will arise, right? That's called the number 6, called the six sources. So the six sources, which eye, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mental. So this will be arise after a few months. Then when these six sources arises, slowly, eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose, tongue, body, all those consciousness will be active. When you're first inside the mother womb, this sensory consciousness, only the body, rest of this sensory consciousness is not active because they have no faculties. Faculties not, there. So that's why one second. Yeah. So that's why the six souls are not active. Six sources are not there. So that's why sensory consciousness will be not going to be active. So after the six sources arises, then eye sense consciousness active, then can see. Then ear sense consciousness can hear. Then nose sense consciousness can smell, and tongue sense consciousness can taste. Then body sense consciousness can tangible, what you call active and experiencing. Then mental consciousness. So all these sensory consciousness, when they're active, then they're connecting to the objects. When the objects, they can see, they can hear. So that's why I call number 7 contact. Contact your consciousness and the faculties, all this arises, your contact with the objects. That's called the number 6, right? So the number 6, contact. So these are the results: name and form, 6 sources, contact. Then when you contact with the objects, that's why you feel. That's why the feelings comes. Joy, pleasure, or unpleasure feeling. So feeling will comes after when you contact with the objects. So that's number, I don't know now which number. It's number 6 or 7 numbers. 6 souls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 8 is feeling. So name and form, 6 sources, contact, the feeling. These are the results. Feeling. Then, same. When you feel pleasure, then you attach. Unpleasure, you're angry. So pleasurable things, you attach, you're clinging, then grasping, then again you're nurturing to you. That's why we circling. So then, as soon as when you connecting to the mother womb, and day by day you're getting older. It's called aging. Then finally you will going to die, death. So these are the 12 link interdependent, which is first ignorance, second compositional activity, third consciousness, and the fourth name and form, and the fifth six sources, and six contact, and seven feeling, and the eight craving, number nine grasping, number 10 potential existence, number 11 birth, number 12 aging and death. So these are the 12 link interdependent. Among the 12 link interdependent, number one, ignorance, number two, compositional activity, number three, consciousness, and then jump to the number 8, craving, number 9, grasping, number 10, potential existence. These are the 6. It's called causal interdependent origination. These are the causes. It comes in the past life, right? Then the result, number 11, birth. Then number 4, name and form. Number 5, 6, name and form, 6 sources. Number 6, contact. Then after that, contact after feeling. Then aging and birth, aging and death. So these are the 6 called the result. 6 are causes, 6 are the results, right? So that's why you can go to the cause and result, then you can go like a, just like a, what you call number 1, 2, 3, like just general names, ignorance, compositional factor, ignorance, compositional activity, consciousness, name and form, 6 sources, and contact, feeling, craving, grasping, and potential existence, birth, and aging and death. So it's non-stop. So because when you're born, then name and form, then after 6 sources, then you contact, then you feel. So anything you feel, you're craving, you're grasping. When you crave and grasping, you nurture your karma in the past. So that's why it's karma make potential existence. Then after you die, then you birth again, non-stop. So that's why we're circling in samsara, through the 12 link of interdependent origination. So it's circle, which means you never end it. There's no, from there it can go round, round, round. Never end it. It's round and round and round. So as soon as living with this kind of life, they never ever achieve really ultimate happiness. We can go for few, realms, like a very high, like a god realms, demigod, and human beings. Then eventually we fall down, animals and hungry ghosts and harems. Then you're suffering so much. Then you accumulate something good karma. Then you go higher rebirth. Then you fall down again the lower rebirth. Up and down and up and down. It's like a roller coaster. Never ended. It goes like that way. Eons and eons and eons and eons. That's why the Buddhists be believing there's no beginning, right? No beginning. So no beginning, we come from beginningless till today. And we'll go. How long? We still go as long as if you under the influence of ignorance, mind of ego grasping. So that's the main seed. As long as if you're under the influence of mind of ego grasping, never end it. It's keep going same in circling in samsara with physical, mental, emotional pains and sufferings. It's like that. So these are the called 12 link of interdependent origination. It's important to study more. So the point is understanding that, then you know about the samsara, even the very nice thing or even the very bad things, as all of them are part of samsara. So knowing one's living under the influence of this samsaric, circling in samsara. Point is, even like attractive object, whatever you see, as soon as if you know this is part of samsara, which means part of suffering, even how attractive, nice, objects we engage, deep of your heart, if you know this is part of mundane and samsara, which means the nature of this object is suffering. So if you know that, then it's first thing, it helps to control your attachments. The problem is we have so much attachment on so many things. So that's why we lose our freedom. We're completely stuck into these mundane things. So it's endless of things. We just roller coaster, circling there. So that's why knowing this samsara, how we circling. Then second thing is we added Four Noble Truth, suffering of suffering, changing suffering, suffering of conditioning, or the pervasive suffering. So knowing these three as a suffering, so use this everything, even suffering of suffering is easy, but the changing suffering, suffering of changing, it appears like a very beautiful, nice, but it's not longer. It will not remain that. It will change into suffering. It will turn into the problems. So if you know these things, for you, it helps to control your attachments. You will not going to drunk by these mundane things. So most of the human beings and sentient beings who are circling in samsara, we fully drunk with this kind of, the mundane pleasures. So that's why, using this 12 link of interdependent, the craving and grasping, how much they're nurturing, and fundamental causes of suffering comes from one's own ignorance, mainly ignorance. Then out of ignorance, then all the negative emotion, attachment, anger, and so forth. Because of that, accumulating the karma. Because of the karma, then, attachment, craving, and grasping, nurturing them, so becoming makes a very strong karma. Then that's why we have no freedom. We want to do something, but our karma is too strong. Everything's a result brings by the karma. So the karma, who make this karma strong, our craving and grasping. So this all part of your mind. So you are only the person can change that. Nobody. So this samsara, can we free from this samsara? Can we able to remove them? If samsara is possible to change, is this what you call impossible? So first we should think possible, impossible is the base. This samsara we circling by our craving and grasping, nurturing our karma. Then go deep is mainly ignorance. That's the thing. If ignorance is possible to move, to eliminate, then all the results who create by this ignorance will remove, will cease. If ignorance is nature, it's a part of nature of human beings, it's impossible to change, then there's no way to free from samsara. So we have to remain that. So our investigation is the ignorance. Is this mind is possible to change or not? So who is that? So we need to study on the ignorance. So that's why the third and fourth noble truth, mainly when we talk about the cessations of suffering. Cessation of suffering, suffering itself is not a big deal. How should we know that the fundamental causes of the suffering, which has come from ignorance, is there is a cessation of ignorance or not? Is cessation of ignorance exists or not? So in order to really prove and the confidence to know that, first we have to understand the reality, emptiness, dependent origination. If you're really understanding the phenomena are the ultimate reality of all the phenomena, including self, then we know the amount of ego grasping, that ignorance, completely mistake wrong consciousness, mistaken consciousness. And it is temporarily. So wrong mistake, which means curable, changeable. So change by whom? Who will going to fix this wrong mistake consciousness? Only the wisdom. The wisdom who cognizing the ultimate reality, called the wisdom of emptiness. It's only the wisdom can antidote, can eliminate directly to the ignorance. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's the main thing. You know, it's not just we follow a Buddha says or this master says, that master says, because you are the person who is going to control that. You are the only the person who is going to fix it. You are the only person can able to fix. Nobody will going to change that. So in order to fix this, you have to have fully confidence. In order to build this confidence, you have to understand fully. So without knowing, there's no confidence. No confidence, then always somebody. So I pray to Buddha and can fix it. That kind of expectation not going to work. That's not Buddhist system. The system of Buddhism is not on that basic. Buddhism, fundamental basic difference with the others is there's no creator. So no creator means self-responsibility. That's why the Buddha say you are your own master. Things depend upon you. So you have to fix it. You have Danyi Daji Goyikis, that in Tibetan called that. You are your own master. So that means this is self-responsibility. And also it's not just somebody don't wants to help you. Somebody, ignore. It's not about they don't have compassion. Of course they do have compassion. But we have to go with the reality, the realistic, the reality. The reality is this is part of your mind. The ignorance is part of your mind. So you are only the person can fix your mind, right? When you go to the education, go to school, even the parents are very talented, very smart, very high educated. Doesn't mean their children will become very high educated. The children have to go to school. They have to learn themselves. So they have to develop their mind by themselves. It's not somebody there. And the other can help you, serve you, helps you. But the final decision is you, completely safe. So to do this kind of things is nirvana is possible. So in order to prove the evidence, to make confidence is the real possible, in order to feel that, if you're understanding the ultimate reality. All phenomena are empty inherent existence, the selflessness. So all this, and that doesn't mean self is not exist, right? It doesn't mean that. It's the emptiness, which means the empty of inherent existence, empty of exists by its own. Everything exists relatively, dependently. So things when they're relative, depending on somebody else, that means they can't able to exist themselves. That's why they're dependent on something else. But our mind, we don't understand these things. So need more learn, more investigate, more think again and again. Contemplation. It's called analytical meditation. So the meditation is not just sit one and keep your mind blank, not think anything, or just breathing in and out. Not alone that. There are many different varieties meditation. Among there, one of the really important and difficult and most important meditation is meditation of emptiness. The meditation of emptiness is also not like stabilization meditation. First, analytical meditation, to analyze. Emptiness meditation, sometimes we misunderstanding. We just keep the mind just sort of blank and not think anything about. Not thinking, some might be think that way. Emptiness meditation, which means we're developing wisdom. We have to cognize something. Staying not knowing, just staying like that. How can they change ignorance? In order to change the ignorance, we have to understand, cognizing. So wisdom, cognize something. So it's not just stay blank mind, not knowing. Not knowing, instead of helping the ignorance, maybe instead of removing the ignorance, maybe they're helping. It just remains like not knowing anything, right? So it's not like that. Emptiness meditation means in that moment when you meditate in emptiness, because your focus is ultimate nature. So ultimate nature, none of them exist independently. So everything's a relatively none. They're not there from that moment. It's not appearing any conventional truths, any conventional reality. But in that moment, and you are in the meditation on emptiness in that moment, not seeing this conventional reality doesn't mean you negated them. You're negating conventional reality. That doesn't mean that. Not seeing because of your mind is fully absorbing ultimate reality. So when your mind is looking at that point, other things you're not seeing, but not seeing doesn't mean you negate them. So the nihilistic and the emptiness is so different. So that's why the sometimes misunderstanding. When you fully focus in, like something like in the book, when you really focus in this specific, this kind of symbol of these deities, when you're looking at even around there's many syllables, there's the words, all these things. And that moment, you're not seeing them. Not seeing them doesn't mean you negate those words, those other pictures in the book. You're not negating other pictures on the book. Because of you have so much focus on specific this part of the picture, rest of them in that moment, you are not seeing them, but it doesn't mean you negate them. So like that. So it's need to be more educated on ultimate reality. And through that, only the way to free from samsara is we have to free from mind of ignorance. The first, the trial of interdependence, the ignorance. In order to free from that ignorance, what we need to have wisdom of emptiness. Understanding, mind of ignorance, mind of ego grasping, who apprehending, who ascertaining or apprehending the self who exists independently, something solid, something pointable, absolute, exists by its own, which is mind of emptiness, knowing that self is not exist independently. The empty of inherently is completely opposite of this mind of ego grasping. So that wisdom of emptiness will directly antidote to the mind of ego grasping. Then slowly, when your wisdom's growing more and more, when you become more familiar, eventually the mind of ego grasping will go into decline and finally will eliminate. So when you completely eliminate the mind of ego grasping, you are free from this kind of samsara. So you're no more longer circling in samsara because you cut it like a mala. You cut the thread, then you don't need to go around. It's finished. Now it's go this way. So that main point is the ignorance to freedom. So to get rid of this ignorance, wisdom of emptiness is so important, but at the same time, we have so much lazy, there's so much obstacles, the attachment, and so many things there. So to get rid of these things, the method aspect, to achieve the liberation through the wisdom of emptiness, in order to achieve the liberation, you need a very strong, the method aspect of the path. It's called the renunciation. So if you have a really, really strong renunciation, renounce all the mundane pleasures, all the samsaric pleasures, renounce all of them, and you feel disgust toward all this mundane samsara attractive, unattractive, all any of these objects, discussing them, and the deep of your heart, you just wish to free from general all the samsara, specific the causes of that samsara, the ignorance, the mind of ego grasping, and specific those attachment, fully misunderstanding, about the reality. So you have a very strong sense of free from them, liberate from these sufferings and the causes of suffering. That's called the liberation, cessation, it's the nirvana of all the samsaric pleasures. When you have very strong sense of the desire, the wishes to achieve that liberation, that means you have a renunciation. So renunciation means the desire, the wishes, seeking oneself free from all the samsara, specific attachments and your negative emotion, the causes of samsara, seeking oneself, achieving that liberation. So that kind of strong wishes, it's called renunciations. So when you have very strong that kind of renunciation, then all your practice will becoming real. All your practice, you will going to look inward, not for outward. So sometimes when we're practicing, our practice becomes so much outward, so much showing instead of real. So when you're looking any even simple recitation of the mantra, it's for to get rid of this attachment, to get rid of this ignorance, to get rid of this negative thoughts, emotions. You always put inward. So even the small practice will huge benefit, always bringing in to try to fix, try to remove this poison inside our mind, those mental disease, those negative emotions, which is the fundamental causes of all these sufferings we're experiencing. So everything you're looking in there, so it's becoming really powerful, and your practice becoming very different, much different, and your practice become much better, much stronger, and less obstacles. Otherwise, if your mind is like half samsara, half practice up and down, then always, not success the practice a little bit better, next time fall down, a little bit better, next time fall down. Sometimes you're doing the practice because of you getting the name, because people will think you're a good person or you're a spiritual person, out of attached to your reputation, your power, or something. So lack of renunciation, I think every practice becoming really, really fragile. So if you have a very strong renunciation, I think the practice becoming really pure, solid, and strong and stable. So that's why the renunciation practice is so important. This is the first, engaging to the Lam Rim, or to becoming serious practitioner. What is the measurement? Serious practitioner doesn't mean, I am a monk, I put rope, I am a Geshe, or I am a Rinpoche, I have so many disciples, I'm too much popular, I'm blah, blah. That doesn't mean that. It's not about the name, it's not about the reputation, it's not about what your physical appearing. It's really in each individual internal of their mind. There are some very simple life, householder life, having renunciation, very strong practice, or the person which is high Geshe or Rinpoche, or so many students and blah, 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 and nothing renunciation, lack of renunciation, and when you look like, this is a great, great practitioner, they say, this is nothing. But the reality, the person who staying like a really, really humble, just family life with the children, having renunciation, he or she, the practice become much deeper, real practitioner. So it's the person who's really popular, whatever, as soon as if you don't have renunciation, your practice is only for names and powers, and then sometimes what you call, unfortunately, then it's becoming too much power struggle and too much reputation. then going too much in the politics way. You don't know what's going on. This is way or this is way. So the either political playing in the politic or the person who playing in the spiritual, and as long as when you have this kind of negative mind, then it can brings everywhere. So it can pollute it. So it's not about external appearance. It's about each individual's the mental, So that's why it's important to daily first, try to practice and renunciation through understanding 12 link of interdependent and the Four Noble Truths. Study more, this contemplate, and slowly put it into practice, and day by day try to develop the renunciation. It's not doesn't mean I have a renunciation means to keep up everything and you go to the solitary or something like that. That doesn't mean that. It's we working with the attachment, working with the mind. It's not physical. So physical life, whatever house order, whatever you can stay as remain as same. Control is one's own negative mind. That's we need to control. That we need to suppress. That we need to decline. That's why in order to decline them, in order to suppress them, in order to eliminate them or reduce them, dharma is the only can able to do that. Nobody. So that's why the dharma is the precious, so important. It's like a medicine. So you can see the value of dharma. That's why it gives you strong trust and more confidence or more faith to the dharma through the renunciation. Oh, it's already going too much, will take too much time. I'm sorry about that. It's more than, I think, it's how many, maybe 20 minutes. So we're going here, and the next time, maybe after the renunciation, and then just 3 higher training, talk about that. Then we'll finish medium scope. Then we're going to jump into great scopes next time. So today we're going to leave here, and then maybe next time if you have questions, maybe remain question answer section next time.